So in my previous video, I decided to leave the DLCs for a separate short video, aka this one. So unfortunately, I don't have a cool intro and I don't want to waste your time unless we have this drop off again. So let's get into Metal Gear Rising, the Jetstream Sam, and Blade Wolf DLC. So first, let's start off with the Blade Wolf DLC because I have less to say on it. So unlike the Sam DLC, this one doesn't really have many specific problems. But also unlike the Sam DLC, it doesn't really have any positives. Using stealth and blade mode are pretty satisfying, but the stealth mechanics aren't complex enough to say this is really that good. And on the combat side of things, your moves are very limited, which while making sense is pretty disappointing. Another slight irritant is that the game sometimes makes you do platforming when it's clear this game isn't a platformer. So anyways, let me start off with the story. It's pretty basic, basically revolving around Mistral, Blade Wolf, and Kamsin. Mistral gets a lot of characterization, but that characterization just made me hate her, and Kamsin gets like 1 minute of screen time. As for Blade Wolf, I liked him a lot in this DLC. You see him pretty frustrated at how he's supposedly fighting for freedom, yet he can't attain it for himself. And also it's pretty damn cool seeing him try to... Again, there's not too much to say, so let's get into the final part, the boss fight. I think the boss fight is okay. I like the stealth section quite a bit as it's pretty darn creative. However, there's two big problems. His attacks can be hard to block because of...
Who's that?
Problem! The camera! So the problem with the camera is that since Blade Wolf is very slow, that means him turning his camera is also quite slow, which is a problem as Kamsin frequently does a sidestep and immediately attacks after, not letting you block in time. On the complete opposite end, his fight was way too easy. Man was dropping nano pace left and right and forward and upwards and backwards and downwards. As for the song, once again, the song goes really damn hard, but they only make the vocals play in the final 20 seconds? This is injustice. Anyways, as I've said plenty, there's not too much to this DLC, so let's move on to Jetstream Sam's. Let's talk about Sam's problems at the very start, starting again with the camera, which is definitely the worst here. In the boss fights, for some reason your parry direction has to be absolutely pixel perfect, so when the camera decides to spin on its own, it's much more punishing here than in the main game. Also, specifically pertaining to Armstrong's boss fight, because of his extremely quick attacks where he moves all across your screen, you have to utilize lock-on to manage where and how far he is from you, but the problem is the lock-on isn't even fast enough to react when it really needed to be. Another criticism is that the enemies are so aggressive that you are frequently unable to do a charged attack, and it's not like you can reposition yourself as the arenas are super short. Not only doing charged attacks, but also doing combos are also hard due to their aggressiveness, where even if the enemy is stunnable, there's a ton of them at once, and if there's only one enemy, it's likely they aren't stunnable. The taunt, while looking hella cool in battle and adding a whole new avenue to gameplay, also makes the enemies somehow more aggressive, which causes you to, instead of attacking them, having to be constantly blocking or dodging, especially when there's more than one attacker. Maybe you could argue instead of blocking you should be dodging, and while it's a whole lot smoother than defensive offense, there's a delay in attacking and some enemies have multiple consecutive attacks. You could say these two issues in dodging just means I'm not timing it properly, but of course I can't when thanks to the camera I can't even see when the enemy attacks me. You might think from this that I hate the DLC, that can't be further from the case. When there's only 1 to 2 enemies and you're not in a corner, this game's combat system really shines. It's really awesome when you take out an extremely powerful foe in only 15 seconds. Also, god, do Sam's animations look amazing, and the red effect is awesome as well. The charged attack feature is amazing when you'd want to use different ones in different cases. Anyways, let's get into the boss fights. The first boss fight can be quite tedious because you always have to be on your guard constantly, because if you try to counter attack, you'll immediately hop away, and if you try to squeeze out damage before the enemy finishes preparing his attack, you may end up finding he did a quick rush at you. However, the next boss is nothing short of amazing. It's really short, but there's literally nothing unfair about this boss fight. The camera is completely fine, you have plenty of opportunities to taunt and charge attack, and of course going into blade mode is awesome. Now about the Armstrong fight, there are two main criticisms. Once again, the camera is not on your side because it doesn't move around fast enough when Armstrong attacks, particularly when he's doing his yellow attacks. Also again, trying to charge your attack can be tedious as Armstrong may instantly rush you, but other than that, I think it's a decent boss fight. Sorry for the sudden change in tone, but you see I am from the future and I realized I didn't even talk about the story of the DLC. Monsoon didn't really matter in this, but seeing Armstrong's recruiting tendencies were interesting. Also seeing Blade Wolf and Sam's relationship start was cool too. And of course, Sam actually became a really good character. Other than as a rival, we see how he's actually doing good things even if it was for his own selfish reasons, and we see in the end how he became disillusioned after serving Armstrong for so long, and it is quite tragic. Anyways, I'll end off with 3 main nitpicks. 1, it's kinda disappointing how there's no music. Also, there's no reason why you can't play him in the main game. And most important of all, why didn't it tell me about this cool as hell blade mode attack, man? Come on! Anyways, that's all I have to say about the DLCs. Pretty enjoyable, and now I can get back to burning aliens. See ya.
I'm joking! I'm
Except you see, this is not the end of my video. Instead, it's where I discuss the future of my channel, kinda. So from this video, I've learned that my mic isn't the problem. I bought a new one and it still sounds trash, meaning instead, the problem is that my speaking skills are god-awful. Also, this is the last video I'll edit with Shotcut. I'm moving on to Leonardo da Vinci. I'll miss you, Shotgun man. Psych, see you in hell, you laggy dumb software. Risk and P word, and my mom won't let me say it.